think about whiskey as like a relationship, right? So Whiskey and I have kind of like gone through the dating phase. And now, like, me and Whiskey are getting to know each other and we're looking to an engagement soon.
Welcome, Whiskey World. This is Northern Proof. I'm Ian. We have Dave and Daryl, and there was no rhyme or reason to my pointing last week, so I'm not going to do it again.
Well, I'm Dave, and I'm excited to try this Lot 40 Cask Strength. I know it's strong, and I'm ready for it.
I'm Daryl, the Whiskey Sith. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/Northern Proof and Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just search for Northern Proof and we'll come up.
So we, what did we do last week? We did Lot 40, the regular original blend, or original Lot 40, I guess you could say, as well as the Dark Oak, which was a super special pour. I really enjoyed that Dark Oak. I was surprised on how, when I came back to it, I really liked it. So we're continuing down that Lot 40 train, I guess you could say. We're moving into some different cars with some of the more fancy or more special whiskeys that they have. This is the Lot 40 Cask Strength. We have all three of them so far. We have the 12-year-old, which is the first one. I believe it came out in 2017. We have the 11-year-old, which is the 2018 edition. And then we have the Rye Whiskey, which is the non-age stated 2019 edition. 2020, they didn't have one because 2020 sucks. I think anyway, but Dark Oak kind of worked its way into that. So I'm happy about that, but we're going to give it a go. We're going to start with the 12-year and then work our way through. So I know Dave has a bunch of questions about these and whatnot, but I also did think we should probably preface the Cask Strength with something. So I've got just the Lot 40 original that I've been pouring again. I'm really enjoying that. But what are you guys drinking?
I just finished off a Wiser's 15. Just ended with that. I know that you guys were letting me know that this Cask Strength's going to come in strong, so get a little pre-drink going. So I'm fired up. I'm ready for this. And you actually already answered a couple of the questions I had there because I'm new to Lot 40. I didn't really know what we were getting into with all of this, but being new to whiskey, I was excited to try everything. Loved the Lot 40, both of them last time. So I'm excited to try these ones. And that was my question. I know I had 3 little sample bottles here that you had dropped off, 1, 2, and 3. And I'm like, what are the differences? I'm like Googling Lot 40 Cask Strength, and I'm just seeing like the one, and I'm like, how is this? So that's like they develop and deliver out a new Cask Strength each year, other than this year, obviously.
So Wiser's has done the Northern Border collection since 2017, I believe it was. Daryl, gotcha. 2017, I think.
So because these are 3 different years, am I to expect 3 completely different tastes, or what am I prepared for here?
We'll get to that as you go through them.
I was figuring it was years because when you sent the picture of your bottles, they were like empty, medium, full. Like you could tell how many years you had gone through with them.
There's 2 close, as you can see here. There's 2 close to empty, and then the rye whiskey, which is the most recent one. I've shared the rye whiskey all over. I recently did a 12 Days of Christmas with some buddies all over North America, and that was the pour that I sent in, so everybody got to cheers.
Oh, nice.
With that one. So it's a cool one. It's a special one to me, and it was a little bit more available, so I was able to share that with a lot of people. I took one to a hangout that Daryl was at with a few other buddies, and just like threw the bottle on the table, and it's like, here, go at it. Like, it was an easy one to attain for me. The other 2 were a little bit harder to attain. People were pretty hot for those ones. So
nice.
Yeah.
So I spent some time this week talking with Dr. Don.
Ooh, aren't you fancy? You got the doctor's number?
Some tidbits. I won't get into all of them, but I thought it'd be interesting. Last week we kind of talked about Lot 40, that it went off market around 2012 and came back. So he shared a little bit more background. So it's kind of interesting. It's called Lot 40. Back in 1998, the product was designed by master blender Michael Booth. And it was his interpretation of how 100% rye whiskey was made early in Canada, especially by his forefather, Joshua Booth. So I think that's pretty interesting. And then when Joshua migrated to Canada, the plot of land that was given to him was actually number 40. And therefore, that's where the name comes from. And
Cool.
Dr. Don's carrying that on.
Nice.
He also talked about in Canada how cask strength kind of works differently than other places in the world.
Mhm.
And he was telling me about how it goes into the cask at about a 58 to 60% ABV. But due to the humidity in southern Ontario, the strength goes down over time as it sits in the casks. So in about 10 years, it'll actually drop 3%, which in dry climates, the strength goes up. So
Mhm.
we have the reverse effect with our humidity pulling. I guess it pulls the alcohol out through the virginal casks.
Nice. So Daryl, let's
and
be honest here. Were you blushing while talking to Dr. Don?
All I did, I just asked him, like, can you share like a neat tidbit that we can share in our show? And he came back with pages of information
That's
Wow.
awesome.
to me. So he blows my mind every time I talk to him, how willing he is to talk to the whiskey community, especially for how busy he is.
Call me a doctor. I need it. Sorry, it's there. It's there. I'm just gonna go drum it out right now. Okay. Okay, we'll be back. So this
All right.
first one that we're working through, what is the percentage on this?
55%.
Okay.
So 110 proof. So it's got some proof.
It's got some proof, but there are some stronger ones out there. Like, what is the highest proof you've had?
That I've had?
Rubbing alcohol?
No, 100. I think 140-ish around there. I had a Elijah Craig barrel proof hazmat with a few guys.
Okay.
That was around 140 proof, which was phenomenal. It was really hot, that one, but it was really good. But yeah, this is right in my wheelhouse for proof. I love
Okay.
110 to 120. Maybe a bit more depending on what's going on, but 110 to 120, I just find you get a bunch of flavor. It's not kicking you in the teeth every time you're trying to, like, I can walk into a 110 and it doesn't faze me too much. The proof point's really, really nice, I think. So when this came out, it was really special.
I'm going to speak some truth for a minute because it's been a long day. Ian, I know that you've had a long day.
Yeah, it's been a long
And let
one.
me tell you, getting my kids to bed tonight was not the easiest task. So some proof tonight is definitely needed and warranted. And I am looking forward to it.
Well, we got
This one will
three
get you started.
Whew.
good ones.
It doesn't smell too strong on the nose. It definitely, I'm picking up a lot of like similarities from the original Lot 40 that we had last episode.
Yeah.
The rye, like I'm getting that rye smell in it, which is nice, which I'm starting to understand is a rye smell, which I didn't know before, but having that Lot 40 for the first time and how unique it smelt to me, I think it's just because I hadn't had a true good rye yet.
Well, just taste that.
I love this one on the nose.
Just taste that. The
There's
nose.
so much that comes out of it.
There's so much more once you taste that. Yeah. The nose, we can talk about the nose, but I just wanted Dave to taste that. He needed that after today.
That's good.
For anybody that follows the bro laws, Dave did a 50-50-50 challenge or something today. I don't know. I was tired watching it.
I tried to do a workout, and you know, if I'm going to be drinking this much whiskey, I got to be doing something to balance it on the other side, I figure. The proof on this is good. It's not hitting me overly strong. I don't know if that's because I had a little pre-drink before this, but
Probably.
it definitely, it hits the back of the throat and it almost like going up the nose a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't find that. It's like, this is really easy as 110 proof, in my opinion. Like,
It's got a nice black pepper to it.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting mid palate. It's probably with some dill, I think.
Maybe
Dill.
dill's a really common rye note that people pull out.
Interesting.
Yeah, I get some leather and oak. I get the age on this on the nose, especially. You smell that? It's got some the oakiness, a bit of that like darker oak too. Like it's been aged for a while. It's got a complex
Yeah.
nose to it.
And you said it's a 12-year?
It's 12-year age stage, so that means the youngest whiskey in the bottle will be 12 years old.
Okay.
So yeah.
So that's something as well. Your bottle to bottle whiskeys can taste a little different. Is that true?
So if it's a single barrel, which you see like the Knob Creek single barrel we talked about last week, a single barrel will be very different every barrel because the wood's different, you know, where it's stored in the rickhouse is different, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
The blend of whiskey. So this, I believe, you might know more, Daryl. I think you have some fancy notes there, but I believe this was a whole bunch of 12-year or older whiskeys put into a batch, and then they bottle it from that.
That's so wild. Because
So
I remember like being newer to this and learning the process in which people go to make whiskey. When you're talking about Dr. Don, how he mixes these and how he works these, I've always just kind of thought of whiskey as you put a bunch of stuff in a barrel and you let it sit there. But then just you saying like he combined different 12-year-olds to be able to make that. Like I find that concept interesting.
yeah, so this one here is bottle number 3940 of 4968. So there's under 5,000 bottles of this produced.
Okay.
It was a Canada only release, and the 12-year was really was a really exciting whiskey for Canadian whiskey. Essentially, if you were interested at all in whiskey at that time or Canadian whiskey, people were just raving about it. The States people were just begging to get it.
Really? That's
yeah,
awesome.
it's a really solid whiskey in my opinion. So Daryl, what do you think?
I love how this one, it just sits there for almost a couple minutes and slowly dries your mouth. And as it does, I'm getting like a butterscotch toffee on that end. And that, you know, we talked last week. I just love that spicy rye that just, it warms you up.
It does.
Yeah.
As a Canadian, and it's snowing tonight, I can warm up.
Yeah. It's like Pop Rocks. I reference proof a lot, like Pop Rocks on the finish. When you get a higher proof, it kind of sits and tingles on your tongue. But this one's sweet. It's got this really sweet finish to it, and I feel like it's got this sweet pop rock kind of finish that I love. That's a finish is a big factor to a whiskey for me. You have the nose, which is probably my favorite of everything, but then the lingering aspect of the whiskey is what I really that's what I really want to see in stuff.
Yeah.
The mid palate, I don't. Maybe it's because I don't have a good palate, but the mid palate I don't care for as much. The finish, where it just kind of clings, and you kind of have that. Like you taste this for a few minutes after, and you're still, you know, finding new things and enjoying it. So
I think I've burnt my mouth on pizza too many times, so my mouth's a little messed up. But the Pop Rocks example is a brilliant example. I wouldn't have thought of that, but the second you mentioned it and like you just kind of let your mouth linger with the whiskey, and it just like it's exactly Pop Rocks. You feel your tongue just kind of bouncing around all the different flavors.
There's so much complexity to this one. And it just, I don't know about you guys, but it makes me want that next sip. Yeah, actually mouth is watering just waiting for that as it finishes, because it is such a long finish. You want to get everything out of those last few minutes, but you want to take another sip at the same time.
It's got a good earthiness to it too, I feel.
Yeah, so I feel like it's not as floral and like vibrant as the original, which I just had. It kind of the age makes it that more like dusty, leathery, maybe, you know, complex. That's what I like. Talking about an aged bourbon or an aged rye, this is everything I want. And this is one of my favorite whiskeys, like top 5 whiskeys for sure.
Really?
I'm wearing a podcast hat, so if you listen to the podcast at all, the Grease on it talks about his top 5 whiskeys, and I'm pretty sure he has about 400 top 5 whiskeys. This is actually This is actually in my top 5 whiskeys.
I've got Dr. Don's notes on
Oh,
this
well,
whiskey. So
Oh.
let's do
Wait,
that.
I
on the
was gonna say
nose-
licorice. So if he says licorice and I didn't say it, then I gotta know. So I said licorice. Okay, it's out there.
the licorice might fit in with something. You're
anise.
so these right pairs that are complemented by sour rye bread. This is all on the nose. Warmed honey, rich vanilla, and a slight floral note. So I think you pulled out a bit of floral, Dave, on this, or maybe it was the original Lot 40 last week. The body is we've all talked about how big and complex it is, and there's so much depth to this one. Heavy rye spices, being Cask Strength, white pepper, unites with roasted walnuts, English
Ooh.
toffee, and subtle dark fruits. So I'm wondering if it's that mix of toffee and the dark fruits that might be giving you a bit of that licorice taste.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right.
The length of finish, he says, about a minute and 45 seconds.
Yeah.
And if we go back to our empty glasses at the end of it, we may have it smelling like a aging warehouse.
Interesting.
So probably that musty, leathery.
Yeah.
I love that.
You pulled out.
I just love that because if you were to describe that to somebody, they'd probably be like, why the hell do you drink that stuff
Yeah.
if it smells like an old warehouse?
I
I
really
happen to love old warehouses, okay? Leave me alone.
I love when we do our tastings with some new guys and they're sitting there and you're like, no, just tell us what you're actually tasting. And they're like, Band-Aids? Should I be tasting Band-Aids?
Band-Aids?
Like,
is that a
absolutely.
So let's contrast 12 to 11 year. The 11 year is the next one, or number 2 in your samples. This one is 58.4% alcohol. So 116.8 proof. Is that it?
Feel from smelling it, it's going to feel, you're going to feel that proof more in the mouth, I think.
3 more percent, which isn't insane.
No, but I don't feel it's going to be hiding the proof as much as the first edition did.
Yeah, I find this one. So reviews online have been torn between this first two, like whether they're like the 12 year or the 11 year. And as you go through it, you find it's a bit more punchy. I find the nose has that rye, like boom, it's there a bit more. Whereas the 12 year was a little bit more subtle, a little bit more inviting, kind of. I enjoyed the nose on that a little bit more. You can walk into it easier. The 11 year though is more of a punch in the face, like let's get ready for something here. So
I think for me the 12 year has a way more complex nose to it.
Yeah, I get
more of the oakiness in that, where switching straight, like going nose to nose, the 11 is a lot duller almost.
Duller. So I get more punchy rye spice
Gotcha.
in this nose. So if like when I smell it, it's like, oh, there's definitely some sharp notes. Not sharp in a negative way, but there's more like presence to them.
I get the dill on this one a lot on the nose.
Do you?
I didn't necessarily smell it that much with the first one, but like the dill hits me on this.
Okay.
Yeah, going back to the first one, probably the drying on the glass now. I'm getting caramel for sure out of there.
Yeah.
But this one, I get the spices. Dave got the warmth on his tongue. I was about to speak about this
I'm
one.
Be taking this shirt off soon. I'm gonna start sweating down here.
This one, I think, I don't know if it's black pepper or white pepper. I have a lot of trouble distinguishing the two, but this one's got like that spice on your tongue that it's not a burning, but
yeah,
it's a great flavored meal.
This one feels hotter to me.
Definitely hotter.
Like you notice it on the tongue, mainly on the tongue, not on the throat as much, but it's got this like presence, like it's a bold whiskey. And then the finish, it kind of it sticks on the tongue. Like it's not the pop rocks that I had before. It's more of that like burn, kind of a burn sensation.
Yeah.
like Daryl was saying, and I don't know what that note would be, but I love the 12 years for that finish. That's like, it's this exciting finish that just leaves you waiting for the next sip, kind of. The 12 or the 11 year, the second one that we're trying, this one here, it's bottle 719 of 4020. So there's less produced of the 11 year, which makes sense because I'm really low on my 11-year stock, as you can see. But it's a good one.
So how available are these past two bottles that we've gone through? Are they still in store? They're sold out and you got to find them on the dark web or something?
The black market interwebs. Yeah, if you know some people that have them, you might be able to get them, but the prices are doubled, if not more, for what you're paying for them, from friends, right? They're just friends that you know online. But no, I was able to stock up when they came out. I kind of had a feeling that they were going to be exciting whiskeys, so I went out and bought a few of them.
Smart.
But they've dwindled. I've shared a ton of it, and as our tagline is, share good whiskey. I think that's the special part of this. You get some good stuff, you open it and you share it and you send it places, and sample bottles have been fantastic for my whiskey journey, because a lot of people in the States, we've been able to send samples and stuff and whatnot, or deliver them, and
Nice.
It's been a lot of fun. So
well, thank you for sharing this with me for my first time. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
And
these are great.
We also say let the proof do the talking, and the proof is definitely doing the talking on this.
The proof is working on this one.
It is. It's great. I'm really enjoying it. Like you said, it's got some great different flavors. There is a little bit of a sweetness to it. The rye is coming through, and that throb on the tongue, like you really, really feel it linger on that, which is nice.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
This one I really get a strong rye bread on.
Mm-hmm.
It's just yummy. Can I say yummy?
Yummy.
Yep,
Sorry,
I've
got a music career I'm trying to work out here.
It's all those lip sync videos we talked about last week.
Yeah, it's really good. I'd lean towards the 12 year. Personally, lean towards the 12 year, but I know a lot of people enjoyed the boldness of the 11 year, and they would lean towards that. So
yeah, it's got that high proof. I like in the spice. I just call it the virgin oak cask spice to it. I don't know how to break it down any differently, but you don't seem to get that on rebarreled stuff. It's just on the.
It blows my mind the difference though. I just went back to the 12 year.
Oak.
The smell on it is just like out of this world, and then just the difference between the reaction in the mouth, like on the after, like when you've after it all, like the pop rocks on this, like your mouth is just sparkling on that 12 year. The 11 just has a completely different lasting taste. Like the two of them are so different from each other, but yet they're the same. But yet they're not the same.
Yeah, and that's whiskey. That's the cool thing. Like people, rare breed. I think we all tried rare breed at some point. Some people are looking at laser codes on rare breed to say that batch was fantastic. Get that. I just like rare breed. All of it's good. Gotcha. I don't think I could pull out different nuances between the batches, but some people go to that detail and whatnot. So the way the whiskey is produced can be so varying, and it's really cool to try the different things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I like them both.
He's liking both.
I'm going back and forth because I really like the nose on the 12, but then I'm almost liking the palate a little bit more on the 11.
You like the power a little bit more on the 11? I like
the power a little bit more, but then I like the spark, like the pop rocks of the other. Like I really want to just like combine the two and make a beautiful baby out of them.
You could try that.
Oh, what if I leave a little bit in each glass from all of them and combine all three?
It's called the infinity blend. Yeah. Which is not a bad thing.
I
Yeah,
love that we're
there's-
gonna like power through 3 shots of whiskey in like half an hour. I'm gonna like walk upstairs to my wife and just be I'm gonna need some crackers or something after this, aren't I?
So for those that don't know, Dave, Dave drinks the neck of a beer and he's ready to go. So
One beer Dave, they call me.
Yeah. So
It's a good
it's
thing I'm at home and not having to drive, right? Don't drink
amen.
and drive. Drink responsibly, people.
That's right.
100%. So are you on 3 now, Dave? Did you switch to 3?
You got to keep up, buddy. You're
What
on
is
going.
that?
Well, Dave knows it's 3. We're taking our time here. Dave's just powering through. It's just so excited. So Dr. Don's notes
Oh,
are
yes.
you get a deep mature oak, dried apples, ripe cherries and raisins, and a complement of fresh rye
Raisins.
bread with a touch of vanilla and toffee.
I don't think I got any of those.
Is vanilla and toffee
I get
a
the
note
toffee
that you
after
can
it started
pull?
to dry in the glass.
Is a vanilla and toffee a note you can just pull on any whiskey to sound like you're a whiskey connoisseur?
Oh,
You know, getting a
we
little
could
whiz.
we could go down a tasting note rabbit hole if you
Yeah.
want to make yourself sound like you know what you're talking about,
Right.
but know nothing.
There's definitely key things you can pull out, or at least say, if you know where the whiskey comes from.
Gotcha.
You sound semi-intelligent.
Yeah.
Raisins interesting though. I like going back
Raisin-
to something after hearing a note and trying to find that. Raisins interesting.
So what's really cool about Dr. Don's stuff is he's got the schooling and the knowledge to like tell you where the raisins come from in the molecular whatever structure of the whiskey.
Wow.
Which is just amazing. I have to get down to a blending class with him once COVID's over. That's something I really want to do. It would be so cool just to sit there and listen to him chat about stuff. So, which maybe we should take this on the road.
I like it.
Take our show on the road. We were talking fishing earlier, so who knows where.
Like I said, getting 3 kids to bed was pretty hard. So take me on the road anywhere you want, boys. Reason. All right.
Palate, if you guys are interested, is a little bit of green apple, creamy vanilla, black pepper. Definitely get the black pepper.
Mm-hmm.
The spicy rye, which I just call that new oak spice, and cloves. And then he talks about the black licorice on the finish.
Oh, some more licorice on this one. I can't find apple on this to save my life.
No. I've got apple on one whiskey only. It was a Scotch, and that's all I smell with it. But
I got apple.
And it was
on,
Macallan Gold.
I had really high apple notes on the Crown Royal apple.
oh, really?
Yeah, that one had a
Yeah.
lot of.
That
apple.
surprises me. I didn't think you'd get the apple notes on that one. Wait, did you try the peach? Because I got the apple notes on the peach.
Somebody switched your bottle on you.
But let me tell you, mix that Crown Royal apple with some ginger ale, you got a good time.
I did listen to the Brolaws podcast, the Christmas one.
So tell me about this third bottle. What are we into here? This is the newest,
I'm gonna
2019.
figure out what I'm getting off of this one.
This is
Something very distinct
all right.
there.
So this is the rye whiskey. This is the 2019 edition. It's the rye whiskey. It is sitting at 57% alcohol.
Bottling on that is beautiful.
Yeah, they
you
do
can
a really
see it a
good
little more
job.
on that than the other.
They do a really nice job. It's
It's an ode to the copper pot. Right
Yeah.
there on that label.
and it's 114 proof. Really interesting whiskey. So this one, they changed it up a bit. It was 12 years and 11 years old. Now it's non-age stated. So NAS, if you're looking, if people are on Facebook and they're new and they wonder what NAS is, it's not a rapper. Maybe that's, yeah, it's a non-age statement. So with that, they can put any stock they want in essentially, as long as it's within the Canadian guidelines. But they can do other things to it. So with this one, they took, I believe it was 25% of all the barrels and then re-barreled them into French oak casks, which are French oak casks
How
from
Canadian of them.
yeah, fair enough. So it's got a different profile because it went from that spicy rye to now a different a finished rye essentially. And in my mind, it really changed it. So this one was kind of controversial with the rye fans, because they're like, oh, the first two were so good, and then this one's so different. So I'm not sure if you've noticed that when you nose it, it's different, completely different, a little muted.
Yeah.
Like you almost have to really search for some notes. But once you get into it, you get this it's really complex once you kind of calm down with it. This one's one of those ones where you have to take a bit of time with it and really smell it and go at it. What really shocked me was I did this blind 2 years ago in the 12 days of whiskey that we do for Christmas. And I thought it was a bourbon. Like, I could not pick up the rye. I just didn't get it, because it's just such a different feel to it. So let me know what you guys think. I'm really curious.
It's got a bit of a bourbon on the nose. I don't know if that's the French oak coming through.
I don't know anything.
Yeah, it is a lot more muted on the nose.
This one came from Dr. Don's tasting classes and blending classes that he does. And people basically asked for this one to be produced.
Really?
The
people wanted it, and Dr. Don was like, I give the people what they want.
Yeah,
I'm gonna make some whiskey.
He says it right. We listen to our consumers.
Yeah,
they got such high feedback on this one. They pushed it to market.
Interesting, because, like you said, it is very different. I don't taste the. Okay, I was gonna say I don't taste the proof as much, but is that because I just went through 2 other high proofs, or is this one not quite as?
It's complex and soft. Like, compared to the other ones, which are a bit more punchy. This one's soft, but I get like a smokiness to it, like a barbecue smoky. Not like a peated, but more like a sweet barbecue smoke. I get like a little
mesquite.
Something like that, and then I get a little bit of peach on the palate, I think. So
yeah, I can find that in there for sure.
Yeah, so
I find this one's got that rye spice or oak spices mid palate, but it doesn't push as far back as the first two. Doesn't get to the back of your palate where you feel it back there.
Yeah, I get like a peach or stone fruit right on the front of the tongue. Just like allows the sweetness to kind of carry it past. Still a nice long finish, but it's a different finish where it's not the pop rocks or the punch. It's this lasting impression with you. I almost did this one first because because the other ones are so punchy. This one's kind of soft compared to those, but it's also nice to contrast between the three. So really nice whiskey though.
I'm finding right now that if I hold it in my mouth a little bit longer, it's not it doesn't hit as hard, but then when you're holding it, that's what kind of gives you that same mouth feeling that you were getting from the other ones. Like, my mouth is salivating right now. Like, I'm drooling almost. I gotta get a napkin over here.
It's the problem with the beard.
Just holding it gives you the ability to hold it a little bit on your mouth, and you can taste some of those flavors that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. So like, as you guys were talking, pulling out notes, I just kind of let it sit there to be able to kind of see how I'm feeling with what you're saying. And you can definitely pick those out, the little fruity notes, almost like a wine type flavor-ish to it. And the dryness, almost like the dryness of a wine is what I kind of comparing it to almost. But you can let it linger on your mouth, and then it's giving you a similar taste to the other ones, where my first couple sips I was letting go down, and it was a little muted, as you were talking about. But I find this one is one that's nice to be able to just kind of let it chill a little bit, you know? Going back to the first one, though, there's such a distinct difference between them. And I think, Ian, that's why you had said people were kind of uncertain about this, because going back to that first bottle, the 12-year, the smell on it is completely different. These are not even close.
Yeah. And just the nose in all three are very different.
Wow. That's fun. Good job, Dr. Don. All right, Daryl, hit us with Dr. Don's notes on this third bottle here. What do we got?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. So he on the nose, you've got dried fruits with ripe pear, complemented with rye spice, cloves, anise. I'm not sure if I said that one right.
That's the licorice.
Rich
That's the licorice.
vanilla on the palate, fresh tobacco. It's funny when you read these notes, you start to recognize some of these tastes that you don't pull because it's not in your everyday. It's not in your everyday food repertoire, I guess. Black currants and plum, the heavy rye spices, clove, and English toffee. And he says the finish is about 2.5 minutes, which is the same as the second edition. And if you come back to your empty glass, you might get some smoldering fire in there.
That's the smoke.
Give them the smolder. Do you have a favorite between the three of these guys?
It's such a toss-up. I love the spice that comes out of number 2. That on the tongue, that white or black pepper.
What's your favorite, Dave?
I'm just going back through them. I'm hitting back through them. I'm reminiscing. The main thing I was picking up on was how much I love you guys and how much we just get to sit around and drink whiskey together. I love this.
One beer, Dave.
One beer, Dave's arrived. We're there.
I love you guys. I love you so much.
Can we do virtual hugs?
Okay. Interesting though. Going back through again.
How many samples did you give him?
His were half ounce. No, I'm kidding.
Taking baby sips.
He knows what I can handle.
Daryl, what's your thoughts between the three?
Yeah, they're all very unique. I find 1 and 2 are more similar, but they definitely hit the palate differently. 2 was really interesting on how you get that heat that's going to come when you take that sip from your nose before you've even tried it. You can tell that it's a cask strength. I didn't get that on number 1.
Yes, that's a good point.
You knew it was a higher proof, but it didn't feel like it was, what is it, a 55 or something, 56%?
Yeah, 110, 55.
Yeah. So I love that spice that comes out of number 2 on the
Really?
sip.
So you're leaning 2?
I'm leaning 2.
I love that. That's great.
The third edition I could definitely go to any night, and not have to have that pre-sip of something to educate my palate of what's to come.
That first one, it's still sitting there.
Yeah.
I think the nose on the first one. The nose on the 12 is what's hitting me with my favorite nose out of the 3 of them.
Okay.
Every time I come back to that glass,
you get excited.
It's just, yeah. It's delightful. Am I allowed to blend these in, or is that?
Of course, absolutely.
The law? I don't know what whiskey, what I'm allowed to do. We're going all in on the first one here. All 3.
So Daryl is 2. Dave, you didn't really give a actual answer with that.
I didn't.
You're wimping out a little bit here.
If I had to pick, I'd probably pick 1, mainly on the nose, but then also that Pop Rocks finish.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed 3 for the ability to let it sit, for a high proof whiskey to be able to just let it sit in your mouth and linger without feeling like your mouth is on fire. But be able to sit in your mouth and let it linger and be able to hold those notes throughout. Mm-hmm. But if I had to pick between the 3, I would say number 1, the 12 year.
Yeah, I'm with you. The nose is lovely. It's not kicking you in the teeth. The second year gives that punch, right? And then the 12 year the Pop Rocks finish just really hits me. That's what I love. That like it's not too hot, and then it gives you this long finish that you just salivate over it. That's what I like a lot. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go the 12 year. Daryl's gonna go the 11 year. Dave's gonna go the 12 year.
I'm gonna go
Dave's
with the
going
12
with his
year,
own blend.
but now I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
Dr. Don if he's got any left of these three, he's got to put them together, baby.
A single Bro Laws edition, one bottle.
It's good.
But not
It's-
as good.
Not as good.
Yeah.
The-
He's muted it.
The
muted it.
punchiness of the first one was what I liked the most.
Yeah.
I never thought of Pop Rocks. The second you said it, my mouth was just like, and it
That's
reminded me of Pop Rocks. Like, when's the last time you had Pop Rocks as an adult? I can't remember, but now I want to go buy Pop Rocks, and I can't stop saying Pop Rocks.
I love how
So-
excited Dave gets over this. Like, there's so much energy coming into that room.
I'm
right
like,
now.
it's okay. Think about whiskey as like a relationship, right? So whiskey and I have kind of like gone through the dating phase, and now like, you know, me and whiskey are getting to know each other, and we're looking to an engagement soon. I gotta say though, 3 great whiskeys. Having never had Lot 40 before, thank you for sharing your bottles with me. I will definitely be going to pick one up. I had a lot of people kind of asking me questions about what's a good whiskey to start off with. I don't want to spend too much money on something I wouldn't like. I told them that Lot 40 that we had on episode 1 coming in around $38-40 for a bottle. It's an easy buy. You're not over investing, and it's something that you're kind of, I'm going to say that you're guaranteed you're going to enjoy. And then now stepping into the Cask Strength, I appreciate a lot more of the Lot 40 family, what they're growing, what they're building, what Dr. Don is doing with all of these blends coming forward. I never thought to need to follow to find out what whiskey was coming out next year, but now I need to get that bottle before Ian does.
Good luck. I love Lot 40. It's probably it's my favorite Canadian brand. When they came out with the 12-year-old Cask Strength, it just blew me away. It made me proud to be a bourbon loving Canadian, because I love bourbon and I love what it produces. And then that came out and I was like, yes, this is made for me. Virgin Oak, 12 years old, proof to match. And I was just so happy. So yeah, this is probably one of the most I have a couple special bottles, but these are my favorite to share with people, because it's just that story, right? I was able to share with the 12-year-old with the podcast guys, and the relationship that kind of got built out of that bottle was pretty special.
Nice.
And I built some lifelong friends through that. So you know, that's why I would lean to a number 1 all day, any day. Without even tasting it, I'm picking the 12-year-old because of the story that I have with it. And that's what whiskey is to me. It's that experience, that story around that whiskey is what makes this whole hobby a fun thing to do. So
Yeah, absolutely. There's been so many guys that have come out of the woodwork, and we've built relationships around doing blind tastings and building that community with people we never even realized. I didn't know until December that, Dave, you were starting down the whiskey path, until I think I joined a Facebook group and you liked a couple photos I posted.
It's Ian.
And,
He's a good influence on me, I swear.
Yeah,
good or bad,
people
we'll see.
develop through it. Getting to see how people develop through it. Ian,
Yeah.
you've watched me develop through that, going back to many years ago, and a Tennessee bottle we won't talk about.
Jack
golf
Honey.
weekend, Jack Honey. So
Yeah.
a liqueur. We didn't even start at anything. I think I was dabbling into Scotch at that point. And just building on that and seeing the relationships grow. It's a lot of fun. So it's still
I'm
in
gonna
my
throw
garage.
this out there, guys. You know how people like swirl the glass to like kind of, you know, whatever, activate it, do their thing with it, let it breathe. Have you ever tried swirling it while nosing it? Like just wrap it around your nose up and down? No.
Not-
Okay, sorry. You
not
knew
one.
this was coming. You
Not
This is
once
coming.
have I ever
When we
done
hit
that.
3 high proof Canadian whiskeys, you're gonna get something out of me.
I did know it's Friday night after a long week.
Everybody's tired.
This is something new, though. The whiskey community is gonna start growing. This is a Dave special. Swirl it on the nose.
You get the flavor all the way up your nose. It's perfect.
I thought he was going to actually ask a legitimate question on why we swirl the glass.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening. This has been so much fun. I hope you have been enjoying a whiskey along with us. I know that I have definitely enjoyed tonight. Thank you very much, boys.
And I'm Daryl, the Whiskey Sith, with Dave and Ian from Northern Proof. You can find us at youtube.com/northernproof and on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So subscribe to us, and we appreciate any feedback you give us.
Well, fellas, share good whiskey and let the proof do the talking.
Dave has let the proof do the talking tonight.
Guys,
Cheers.
my face feels fuzzy. Have a good night.
Cheers.
The proof is definitely talking to me. This is empty, guys. I'm still swirling it like it's full. Oh, good stuff.